Good morning, Julia. Can you hear me, Julia? Miss Romero, good morning.
Morning.
How are you this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, so good and delighted to see you this morning. Is that Miguel? Did Miguel come in?
Yes.
Miguel, how are you? And as you come in, I'd like you to place your camera on video. Again, let me see. Tyler, here's Tyler. And again, Julia, I'll be identifying who's all the students in your group and who all the students are in Kathy's group. But it's so good to see you all this morning. So I'll continue to let people come in. Miguel, good morning. Good to see you this morning, Miguel.
Good morning. Nice to meet you too.
Hey, truly a pleasure.
How
Let
you
me
been?
let me continue to get people in, but I am listening to you.
Got you.
Nadia, Alyssa, good to see you. Angie, Miss Perez, glad to have you on. Again, as you come on, I'd ask that you, if you're able to make sure that your background is showing as we're coming into class today. Uh, Again, let me see 7 in the meeting. Good morning, Ms. Valadares. Kathy, good morning. Good to see you. Tyler, Nadia, good to see you. Angie, again, be waiting on your video. Uh, Ms. Valadares, how are you this morning? So good to see you and Julia. I've been waiting on this moment for a long time. I've really been waiting. Now, let me put Ramon in. I'll bring Ramon, Mr. Gonzalez in. Uh, Again, I can't wait to get some feedback on your meetings yesterday, and again, to be able to introduce you to everyone. I know that you all are familiar with your cohort, or somewhat familiar, and starting to meet people. But I want to make sure that we collectively come together. I've been waiting on all of you for a long time. A long time I've been waiting on you. You know, I can say I've been waiting on you, but I just simply say that you are the ones that we've been waiting for. And when I say you're the ones that we've been waiting for, so again, Kathy, Julia, I want you to make sure that I stay abreast of others that continue to come on. If someone goes out, please let me know that I need to admit someone else. Let me see waiting room. Again, admit all. So now we have Savannah and Melissa coming on board. So now we have Savannah and Melissa. I want to welcome you both, Savannah, Melissa. Again, in welcoming you, Melissa, is it Madrigal? Uh, Alyssa, I want to make sure, thank you. So good to see your smiling face. Beautiful smile there. I can tell you got a great dental plan. All right. Again, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Let's continue to have everyone come in. I was so excited about day 2, beginning day 2 with you. Believe that to be the case. You know, waking up on this early Tuesday morning, it's 9 o'clock. And, you know, I had to be up earlier than this. You know, it's time for us now. So I want to continue to welcome you all. Let me see here. So again, Kathy, Julia, I will continue to admit students as they come on board, as we know that this is a very unique experience for all of us. So I will continue to, hey, there you go. Julia, well, that's what we're talking about. Julia has welcomed everyone to the group. Uh, I do want to let you know that as you become familiar with others that's going to be in our cohort, as you're becoming familiar with students that are in your cohort, as well as students that are in, let's say, not just other cohorts, but Julia and Kathy, again, as others get on, they are my I'll say both of them are my right hand, but they're both my hands, okay? And this is to say that as we work collectively together, I want you to know, and Alyssa, Ramon, Melissa, I really appreciate all of you being on as early as this morning. I know others will keep on coming on, but I'll be one of the first to tell you what you put into your education is what you're going to get out of it. I want you to know that I'm of the firm belief that you are the ones that were supposed to be admitted. Again, is it Medina? Did I pronounce that correctly, Mr. Brown? Mr. Brown, can you hear me? I am so sorry. My apologies, Miss Medina. Are you able to hear me? Can you hear me? Is it Medinah? So it's frozen right now. I'm going to use the chat, Ms. Brown, and I will say this. For any of you that can't hear me, please make sure you indicate that by way of the chat feature. Because okay, thank you very much. I want to say good morning. Is there, Can everyone hear me just by way of a thumbs up? Okay, cool, cool. So what I am doing is I'm continuing to monitor students that are coming in, and I will be making a note with regards to if you want to say attendance, but that's not so much the primary. The thing is, I want to make sure that whatever information that we are sharing on a daily basis, that you all are getting. Tyler, was that a question from you? Mr. Blumel, did I get a question from you there? I thought that there. Now, I do want to say as we get to know each other, and that's what I want to do in taking today. I am going to go over what we're going to be doing this week, but I want to make sure that you all understand that by the end of this week, this group here, you will be the most knowledgeable students at the university, not just in Summer Bridge. We're going to have this. I'm going to be your primary academic advisor. And again, in just introducing myself, being that this is, for the most part, our first formal time to get together. But I want to introduce myself, Andre Bailey. I am the senior EOP academic advisor. I've been at the university for over 2 decades, to be exact, 26 years. I just have excellent DNA. Again, I'll repeat that through the course of getting to know everyone. But I want to tell you how honored I am to be able to work with Ms. Valadares, Ms. Romero, both Julia and Kathy. I want you to know how honored I am to work with you both. I know that you're going to be the ones to have the pulse of this class, or should I say the pulse of this group. But I want, as we continue to become familiar with one another, what you have to know is that nobody gets through this by themselves. And then it's even another added layer of challenge with this new environment. But what I want you all to know is there's no such thing as a bad question. I'm not here to lecture you. It's always the idea of us having a discussion, but I want you to know who I am. Again, when I not only introduce myself, I'm born and raised in East Oakland, California. Born and raised. In the 20 years that I've been here in this area, at one point, before my wife and I had children, I was traveling back to the East Bay almost every other weekend because of the intensity in being in this area. But we've now developed a community. And Jasmine, welcome. I see you, Ms. Cardenas. Again, as you're able to start your videos and background, Tyler, Jasmine, I definitely want to be able to see you as well. And when I say see you, I want you to know that there's an expectation that when we come together in this class and in this cohort, we're coming together to become more knowledgeable and more insightful every day, every single day, because we don't know what tomorrow holds. One thing I would say is that on the basis of thinking in terms of yesterday as a canceled check, and again, in the terms of like from a financial standpoint, I know that everyone likes to be able to have the resources of finances to do what you want to do. But yesterday is a canceled check and it's not coming back. Tomorrow, again, may never come again, or should I say it may not come. I won't say again, but today is the day that we have to bank on. So when I tell you that there's an expectation, not only for you to be the best, but I want you to be the best within yourself. But we're going to help you. And when I say help you, collectively, the people that you see on here, Tyler, are you able to start your video? Tyler, and if you can't, you can indicate it in the chat. Ms. Cardenas, again, let me know on the basis of, because I want to make sure that even in the environments that you all are in, let's say even at home or wherever you are, I want to make sure that it's conducive. Thank you very much, Tyler. I appreciate your involvement. I want to make sure that you're at home in a conducive environment for learning. Again, we're going to be shifting gears here because what we're going to not only talk about, but it's the idea of this transition. You guys are going through a series of transitions. I said in the first day during that student panel, interesting enough, you're not 2 decades. Most of you are like, let's say 8 years over 10. Okay, somebody may not have had an 18. Is anyone 19 years old? Anyone 19? As I stated before, okay, Ms. Romero, that's right, you're part of this class, so thank you, Julia. What I want you all to know is that I'm of the firm belief that you should be able to be in your youth for as long as you can because you have a lifetime of adulting. You have a lifetime of adulting. The responsibilities and the things that have been placed upon you, and I'm talking about these challenges and the responsibility, you all have a higher level of mature experiences and responsibility than the average class that are coming in. And I want to emphasize that. Many of you are are interpreters for your family. Many of you have part-time jobs. Some of you are student athletes. So the fact of the matter is, everything that you've done to get you to this point, I want you to know, I just want to congratulate you. I want to acknowledge your achievement, and I want to acknowledge you for getting to this point. I don't know if it's been conveyed to you, the number of students that have applied, but I'll tell you that there's 161 students accepted as far as EOP. There's a total of 264 students that are in this program for this 9 days. You have to be very intentional about what you bring to the program. What we want to do is make sure that from a physical standpoint, a mental standpoint, and most of all, your mental health and well-being, we're starting this journey together. And I'm saying, I don't expect you to believe the hype in day one or coming into day two. Understand that the experience that we're embarking on, even though that you're at home, and that's what I want to talk about. See, Kathy and Julia will be able to talk about and share with you what this experience has been like when we've all been together. And that's why I want to, again, thank you, Kathy and Julia. I want to thank you for having the confidence in knowing that in these challenging times, in the time that we haven't been able to be together, I want you to know that now with our students now, I'm all in, I'm recharged, I'm regenerated. Because, see, this is what we have to understand. Each one of you is somebody's children. Each one of you is somebody's child. Again, Jasmine, I'm bringing you back in. Ms. Cardenas, again, there may have been some technical difficulty, and that's the other thing I want you to understand. Thank you, Jasmine. So now I can see that you have 2 screens in here. But what that tells me is that you're putting forth the effort and the energy to make sure that you are getting the information, not just being disseminated, you taking information, not only to become more knowledgeable, but education is the tool that combats ignorance. Education is the tool that combats ignorance. So again, when I continue to congratulate you, Ms. Cardenas, thank you for your efforts. Thank you for what you did to get on the screen today. Is it Cortez? Is it Yair? Did I pronounce that right, Yair? See, let me tell you all something. I pride myself on pronouncing people's names correctly. Because again, like I said before, people will often forget how smart people think they are, but everyone will remember how you treat them. Today, I want to make sure that each one of you introduce yourself this morning. But again, when we go through the idea of introducing yourself, I want you thinking in terms of something that maybe starts with the letter of your first name. You know, I'll give you an example. Let's say Andre Adventurous. So my name is Adventurous Andre. So I want you to begin to correlate some things with me that you will remember who I am. But then not only, this is where the challenge is going to come from you. The longer that you wait to introduce yourself, you're going to have to go back and say everybody that came before you. Yes, indeed, Savannah. I saw your eyebrows go up. Yeah, that's right. Before you introduce yourself, you could introduce yourself and then you're going to go back and say everybody else. So I can say, my name is Adventurous Andre. That was Kathy, whatever Kathy said. This is Julia, whatever Julia said. And because it's the first time, I'll let the 3 of us go first. That means that the last person is going to be very intense to be able to remember people. Now, here's the thing. Interesting enough, I've never done this on a virtual standpoint. So now you can't really help the person next to you, or you can't even whisper to that person. Because if you send a chat, we're all going to see the chat. You know, eventually you're going to have different numbers, okay? You have each other's phone numbers and whatnot. But I'm going to tell you something. One of the uniqueness of your experience in being at home, unlike having to wake up and put on your best clothes or worry about, here, let me see, Kathy. Here we go, Kathy. I'm bringing you back in. One of the uniqueness of this year's Summer Bridge experience is that when you have the luxury of being at home, unlike having to wake up in the intensity of traveling and going to a class and going here and going there, there is a whole different experience that we're going to experience now. And so it's going to be new for all of us. So I don't want anyone thinking that you have to be the expert in this technology, because even as we get into these professors, many of them are going to be using different modalities. Some of them are going to be using Canvas. Some of them are going to be using Google Hangout. Some of them are going to be using Instagram Live and all. Now, when I mention these modes of technology, your generation, you are all pretty savvy at this, from your TikToks to everything else that you do. I mean, the idea is that you want to be able to utilize these platforms, not just for social media, but you want to use these platforms to be able to communicate and make these connections. real quickly, I'm just going to run down the things that we'll be discussing this week. But by the end of the ninth day, prior to you thinking about starting the class, you're going to know how to do your schedules, how to register for classes, understanding financial aid. Again, the idea of making new friends. What does it mean to get involved, get connected? So we're going to cover the entire gamut. And I want you to know that I am very excited. No summer bridge is like any other. See, that's the uniqueness of it. But I damn sure didn't know what to expect on this go round. But I want you to know, Nadia, and again, I really appreciate your smiles, because I'm telling you, Ramon, nonverbal communication speaks just as loud or sometimes louder than verbal communication. So I also want you to know there's no such thing as a bad question. And I will be meeting with all of you independently. I'm going to have one-on-one meetings with all of you, particularly starting today at 1 o'clock, and we'll be going through. But what I want to do, Julia and Kathy, I want to be able to identify specific times for students. As you're having more conversations with your students, as you're the bridge leaders, I want, in my communication with you all, and again, you all can call me anytime. I'm making sure you have the phone numbers from here on out, because again, I know that I'm checking everything online, but I'm checking the phone. Anything that our students need, in either of the cohorts, you let me know right away. And when I say right away, I want to make sure that we are identified, and I want you both to make designated times so that through the course of the 1 and the 5 o'clock hour, that I'm able to go in and meet. Some of you, I'll just schedule the appointments. So if you tell me what time is best for you during that time, I can create Zoom appointments, and then I can meet with you individually that way. But I want you to know, between Julia, Kathy, and myself, we are your academic, we are your success team. We have the 2 faculty that are involved. That would be Dr. Ezra and Dr. Chad Griffith. Let me tell you something. Dr. Ezra is doing some of his best work right now. Dr. Ezra got his doctorate at University of Kansas. And again, interesting enough, that was like the 7th, it was either the 7th or 10th school that he was accepted to for his doctorate. He said, who the hell wants to go to Kansas? Well, if somebody's going to be paying for you and somebody's going to continue to support your education. And when I say that Dr. Ezra is doing some of his best work as a professor in American Multicultural Studies, he just had a national syndication on ESPN speaking of Muhammad Ali, because he wrote a book on the making of an icon. Okay. One thing that you want to understand is that as you prepared yourself to get to this point, make sure that you remember to acknowledge yourself, to give yourself the pat on the back. Because what I know and what I understand, because I have to see all the profiles, I'm talking about the information on you. I know that you were accepted to a number of colleges and universities, and you chose to attend Sonoma. And because you chose to attend Sonoma, I want you to know that we have not only an obligation, but we want to support you in your journey. And whatever these aspirations you are, and I'm going to tell you like this, never let anyone tell you to stop dreaming. Anything that you can conceive in your mind and you can believe in your heart, we can achieve that. And I'll say that again: conceive, believe, achieve. The objective of EOP, or should I say the program in and of itself, is to break the cycle of poverty. As a first-generation college student myself, I'm the first in my family to attend college. I went to University of California, Berkeley, Sacramento State University, and Sonoma State University. I'm bringing in Elvira right now. Elvira, welcome. Welcome. Is that Ms. Brown there? I know that it is the screen there. Are you able or unable to actually start or activate your video?
I can't do the video.
Okay, no worries. Thank you. And I appreciate your response. That way I know everyone is actively engaged. So with that being said, I'm going to start, and I'm going to introduce myself, and I'm going to put an adjective. I already said adventurous, since Andre starts with A. So again, as you all heard, I should be the last person that when you're going all the way back around. So I'm going to give you one hint. It would behoove you to wait till last. If you want to start, because the last person got to go all the way around. So I'm going to introduce, again, my name is Andre, Adventurous Andre, and then I'll talk a little bit about where I'm from, and because I want to know where everyone's from as well. So Adventurous Andre, and I want to introduce, if I say Julia, that means I know her name. Well, the next person? No, So the next person, I'll just say the name, and then Julia, you can say who you are, and then we'll go from there and who you think. Okay. So I'm Adventurous Andre. I am your primary EOP academic advisor. I am the one that's going to be with you to the time that you graduate, from the time that you get here. And the beauty of it all, and I'll just say this because I don't want you to think about too much stuff, is that even as we develop or identify your majors, I'm still going to be your academic advisor. So I'll be meeting with your professors. I'm making sure that I'm like your lawyer. Okay. I'm your advocate. So whether it's financial aid, whether it's admissions, whether it's professors, we're going to go through this together. And I just want to say an honor to meet you all. And I'm staying there. We'll go from Julia and we'll take it on there. But Julia, remember, you gotta say who I am again too. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Jumping Julia, and before me was Adventurous Andre. And a little bit about myself. I'm from Claremont, California. It's in SoCal. It's really small, but my pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'll pass it over to Kathy.
Hi everyone, my name is let's see, K. Kind. My name is Kind Kathy. That's one of my favorite traits, so there we go. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I am from San Francisco, California, and I am majoring in American Multicultural Studies with a concentration in Africana Studies and a minor in Criminal Justice. And I will pass this on to Miguel.
So my name is Miguel, and I chose Moneymaker Miguel because I like working hard and hustling for my money.
Mm-hmm.
And before me was Andre Adventures, and then Jumping Julia, and then
Okay. And Miguel, I really appreciate that. And now here's the thing, money making Miguel. So money making Miguel. So if you go back in the last person, which was Kind Kathy, so you gotta go Kind Kathy, I'm money making Miguel, Kind
got you,
Kathy, Jumping Julia, and Adventurous Andre.
I forgot,
got you,
sorry.
got you.
Okay, so now we're on it now. Kathy, I need some hot coffee too. Hey, money making Miguel, nice to meet. And what where did you hail from? What city? Where did you go? Where you
California.
I couldn't hear. It's from Woodland?
Windsor, California.
Windsor. Windsor. All right, welcome. And so whoever you pick next.
Angie Perez.
Oh, my name's Angie. Before me was Money Making Miguel. Wait, let's say mine first.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Ambitious Angie. Before me was Money Making Miguel, Kind Kathy, Jumping Julia, and Adventurous Andre. I'm looking to major in psychology, but I came undeclared, so I'm still exploring seeing what I really like. I'm from Santa Rosa, California, so I'm pretty local.
Okay. Thank you very much, Angie. A pleasure to meet you. And who would you choose on next?
Nadia.
So I'm nagging Nadia and
Not Naughty Nadia?
nagging.
Oh, nagging Nadia.
Yeah. Before me was ambitious Angie, money making Miguel, kind Kathy, jumping Julia, and adventurous Andre. I'm a local here to Sonoma County, and I'm going to be majoring in sociology. So, and then Melissa.
So I'm Magnificent Melissa. Before me was Nagging Nadia, Ambitious Angie, Money Making Miguel, Kind Kathy, Jumpy Julia, and Adventurous Andre. I'm from Santa Rosa and I want to major in psychology.
Thank you, Miss Magnificent. Thank you so much, Melissa. And who would you pick next?
Savannah.
Hi, I'll be Studious Savannah. Before me was Magnificent Melissa, Nagging Nadia, Ambitious Angie, Money Making Miguel, Kind Kathy, Jumping Julia, and Adventurous Andre. I hope I did that right. and I'm majoring in psychology, and I'm from Santa Maria, California.
Santa Maria?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Welcome.
And I'll pick, is Alyssa in here? I'll pick Alyssa if she's in here.
Hi. Okay. This is really hard. Okay, so I was gonna say ambitious, but I'm just gonna choose accountability Alyssa. Before me was
Accountable.
yeah.
Accountable Alyssa. Okay.
Before me was studious Savannah. Before her was magnificent. Was it Melissa? Before that it was nagging Nadia, and then ambitious Angie. Was it kind? No, money making Miguel, kind Kathy, jumping Julia, and adventurous Andre.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll pick Medina.
Hi. Before me was accountable Alyssa, studious Savannah, magnificent Melissa, nagging Nadia, ambitious Angie, money making Miguel, kind Kathy, jumping Julie, adventurous Andre. I'm majoring in early childhood development. I live in California, Sacramento.
Okay. And Miss Medina, your character, your adjective or the word characterizing you or describing you?
Moody Medina.
Moody Medina. All right. And Miss Medina, and you would select
Tyler. I don't know how to say his last name. Sorry.
No, that's fine. And Medina, what city again?
I'm in Sacramento.
Sacramento. Okay, thank you. And Tyler.
Okay, I guess I'll be tremendous Tyler. Oh God. Okay. Let's see. Before me was Moody Medina, accountable Alyssa, magnificent Melissa, studious Savannah. God. God, who was before that?
She was very magnificent.
I already said her.
Oh, I thought you said. Well, we got some nagging people in here. I don't know.
Oh, right. Nagging Nadia, bunny making Miguel, jumping Julia, adventurous Andre, I think. Oh, kind Kathy. Sorry, I forgot about you. Okay, I think I said everyone.
I think we have somebody that's ambitious in there. I don't know if you caught the ambitious person.
Oh,
there's an
ambitious Angie.
Hey, look, he got that. Way to go, Tyler. Way to go. So now you got to pick someone. Tremendous, Tyler.
Okay, how about Jasmine?
I'm joyful Jasmine. Before me was tremendous Tyler, moody Medina, study Savannah, accountability Alyssa, magnificent Melissa, naggy Nadia, ambitious Angie, money making Miguel, kind Kathy, jumping Julia, and adventurous Andre.
Way to go, Miss Joyful.
I'm from Hollister, and I'm gonna study political science.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much, Jasmine. Before you pick your person, Tyler, what city? What school? City?
I'm in Petaluma.
Okay. Okay, and Jasmine, who would you select?
Elvira. I don't know if she's gone.
The screen is on. We don't see the background. Elvira. Did I pronounce that right? Elvira. Elvira. Miss Hernandez, are you there?
Yeah. My name is Elvira,
And I'm gonna be excellent Elvira, and before me was, I didn't really pay attention, sorry, but it was tremendous Tyler, accounting Alyssa, magnificent Melissa, Nagy, Nadia, Money Making Miguel, and Adventurous Andre, and that's all I got.
No, that's
I'm
fine.
kind of Declare, and I'm from
Undeclared, Elvira. And from where? From where? Porterville or Oroville? Oroville. Okay. Now this is where we're gonna...
Porterville.
Oh, Porterville. Did I hear that right? Porterville. Okay. And before you select someone, Elvira, this is where we come in. As I told you, that it's going to get quite difficult toward the end because we're not in the same room. And I know some of you may have had the liberty of writing things down since we're. But again, it's quite impressive still. But I will tell you, Elvira, you in whatever order you remembered everybody, or Oroville.
Yeah.
Okay, Elvira, before you select someone, and I heard you say kind Kathy, you said money making Miguel, you said nagging Nadia, magnificent Melissa. There are some studious people in here, or a studious person. You remember it was a answer studious. This is where we come in to help you. Now we were in class, but I just want you to know that we're in this together, and you did a good job. So again, it was a studious person. Do you know which one that was? Or even, what about an ambitious person? I'll give you, it's not me, because I'm adventurous, but it's an ambitious one. And I'll just leave you with this. Can you get the jumping one? Who's the jumping?
Jumping Julia.
Jumping Julia. We'll take that. And again, if you can give us who would you select that you realize that has not gone? Can you select someone?
Yari.
Okay.
Or yeah.
I'm young Yair.
Young Yair?
Yeah. So before me was excellent Elvira. And then before was it Moody Medina, I think. Tremendous Tyler. And then was it Magnificent Melissa, I think. Studious Savannah. And then
we knew it wasn't going to be that easy for you. That's why I was trying to give you the hint to say if you jumped in early, but no, hey, you got it in any order, anyone that you remember. You don't have to be in the right order.
Adventurous Andre, Money Making Miguel, Kind of Kathy, Jumping Julia. Who am I missing?
Let me put Miss Romero coming back in. Okay. So again, is that what you got there?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So clearly you know a few people in this room now.
Yeah.
You know a few people on this Zoom. I hope that you all are getting the objective here. Now again, I want you to select someone, Yair. Is it young Yair? I want you to select someone.
Ramon.
All right. I was expecting to be last, so I wrote everything down. My name is Resting Ramon, if that works.
Yeah, that works.
Before me was Young Yair, Excellent Elvira, Joyful Jasmine, Tremendous Tyler, Mooney Medina, Accountable Alyssa, Studious Savannah, Magnificent Melissa, Nagging Nadia, Ambitious Angie, Money Making Miguel, Kind Kathy, Jumping Julia, and then Adventurous Andre. and I'm
Excellent.
majoring in business management, and I'm from Novato, California.
Business management. Novato, is that the black and gold? Is that
Um,
Novato or San Marin?
I'm black and gold. Yeah,
Okay.
Tamarin is green and yellow.
Yeah. So I was no see what I didn't share, and again I'll let you go ahead and I'll share some more things here. You say, well, how did these know these colors? Some things I didn't tell you about myself just yet. So Ramon, who would you pick?
I think Amarani, you're last, right? Okay. Yeah, I'll pick you then.
Okay, so my adjective, I guess, is amazing. Amarani. Before me was resting Ramon, young Yair,
She was pretty excellent.
joyful Jasmine. Oh, excellent Elvira, moody Medina, tremendous Tyler. What was before Tyler?
You got Moody Medina, so you're moving on up to somebody that's accountable, or she holds herself accountable.
Oh, accountable Alyssa, and there's ambitious Angie, studious Savannah, magnificent Melissa, money making Miguel. There's jumping Julia, kind Kathy, and then adventurous Andre. Did I get everyone?
Yes, that's it. That's it. And again, did I pronounce it right? Is it Amarani?
Yeah, Amarani.
Okay, again, you all should know now. I pride myself on pronouncing people's name. I want to say you all did quite well in that. Again, if you can imagine us being all in the same room, and again, Ramon not being able to write things down. Again, that was a hey, yeah, there you go, Julia. Give him some big hands up. But I have to say, just in the initial introduction of us coming together, I know some of you said your cities. You didn't really say your high school. But like I said, Ramon, when I mentioned that, I think I said black and gold. What I want you to know about me, I was the youngest in the state of California as an outreach admissions counselor back in 1994. Again, the youngest in the state of California. What that meant is I had to travel to every single high school in the state of California. I had to be familiar with every high school in the state of California. That's a lot of damn high schools. I also have to be responsible for all 113 community colleges in the state of California. So I had to travel as far as the Imperial Valley, that's east of the 8 San Diego, to as far north as Del Norte and going up north to Arcata. So I have to know the 405, the 605, the 101, the 15. So when I tell you that in the 2 decades plus that I've been here, I know each and every one of your schools. And again, one of the things that I pride myself on is we all have gifts. We all have gifts. And when I think of my practical experience and having worked at Oakland, Maine Post Office, Del Monte Cannery, all as a first generation college student, I had to work in supporting myself through school. I remember some of my uncles that would provide me with a little money to get a pair of pants or some shirts and things, but I was a former student athlete. I played football. I was number one in the nation in kickoff returns. That's Division 1, 2, and 3. Again, for those of you that don't know the football thing, I love football because it gives me the analogy of real life. On any given play, your career is over. What I would say is that in listening to the adjectives and the descriptors that you all use from I would say money making to accountable to studious, Savannah, again, tremendous. When you listen to all these names, I mean, I'm saying look at what we have in here. I mean, we got Miss Kind Kathy and Jumping Julia, and again, Nagging Nadia. So again, Miss Moody Medina, and again, that's a good thing. Let me bring, is it Ira? Who I'm bringing back in? Okay, I'm bringing in. Somebody got out, I had to bring them back in. But what I want you to do is pay attention to who you're surrounded with. I heard in there the pronunciation of Amarani. It's going to take me at least two. Pronounce it again for me.
Amarani.
Amarani. The way that I think it was it Ramon that you had pronounced Amarani's name? I mean, just phonetically correct. You both had some familiarity already. I don't know if it's been in the connection of saying, hey, my name is, but I'm saying that's what's going to carry us through, Tyler. Yair, that's what's going to carry us too. Alyssa, these are the things that's going to carry us through because Miguel, we're not in this by ourselves. So, Studious Savannah, rest assured and just know that when we come together, Angie, and I'll say it this, developing strategies so that we can all learn. I want you to know that this experience is going to be unique for all of us, but collectively and together, I am very proud to have the highest success rate as far as graduation retention. It's, it's not an independent or individual accolade. The objective of this program, and I'll say it this way, I work for a program that values human beings more than profit. I work for a program that values human beings more than profit. You know, with the current ruling of the Supreme Court that actually, how should I say, was in opposition of Trump trying to end DACA, and they said that in a capricious manner in which it was presented, so it didn't go through. But they're only saying that that they're going to be able to take another look, or he's going to present it in such a way. We need you. We need you to to be educated to the reality of the world that we live in. And I'm going to be with you all the way through until you all leave. Can I say 8 days from now? And when I say leave, not like we're here, but until we are no longer in bridge, I am locked, loaded from morning to night and all the meetings that I have to have and making sure that I know from the financial aid, from making sure that you all know how to register. Rest assured, when the fall comes, people are going to be asking you, how do you know so much? This program is to help you transition. So by the time that school begins, by the time that you begin communicating with your professors, you already have some familiarity and some understanding how to navigate this journey. But I want you to know we're starting this journey together. And when I say the journey, many people take different avenues to reach the same destination. But what you put into it, your studying is what you're going to get out of it. So I want to make sure that we're starting off with the idea and the objective of we have no idea what this is going to look like. But when you commit yourself and then we're all bought in, you're going to be amazed at the things that you're gonna do, and the confidence that you will build. Again, come tomorrow. You know, as I start to create things, I think tomorrow I'm glad I didn't do a Kahoot thing today. What I want you to do is not only become more familiar with the university, but the student support resources, and I'm going to make a specialized Kahoot that allows us to have discussions with regards to the answer. How many of you are familiar with Kahoot? Are any of you familiar with Kahoot? Okay. See, again, I want you to know that my challenge in utilizing these platforms, what motivates me to use these technological stuff is you. Kathy will tell you I'm a people person, okay? And when I say people person, it's one thing to be able to establish ideas through relationships. You know, people learn differently, and we're going to go through all your learning styles. And what I'm saying is that everybody has different learning styles. You're going to understand why you're going to choose the majors that you choose. And when I say why you're choosing the majors that you choose, I want you to understand something, that the average freshman changed their mind or changed their major at least 3 times because you're in an exploratory phase. So again, I think undeclared. I'm trying to think who it was. I took my notes. Okay, Angie. Angie, as you were saying psychology, but then you were saying undeclared. Do you know that there's some campuses that you can't even be undeclared? Undeclared is a good thing, because the thing is, I want you to understand that in this 120 units to complete your degree, I'm going to give you basic formulas that we'll be able to comprehend and understand. 50 units of general education, 40 units in the major, and 30 units in electives. And again, I'll let you know that if you decide to do a minor, as I'm talking to you, a minor is only 20 units out of those elective units. But those GE courses, those general ed and elective units, I'm going to be talking to you about how to expedite the completion of your degree. Knowing that in this era of COVID, we can take classes anywhere over let's say over California, and I'm talking about like summertime or winter, but that's how you expedite your degree. In summertime here, one class will cost like around $1,200 or $1,400. It's almost like $330 a unit, and I'm talking about summer and winter. You could take that same class at a community college. I'm saying lower division GE or elective, and you're talking about at a full-time unit load is 12 units. You could have a full unit load for less than $200. What we're going to be talking about is how to expedite your degree at not only an economic and efficient way, but I want to make sure that we're thinking in terms of the idea of going on at graduate levels. I know that we're starting at, this is our undergraduate experience, but like I said, after these 9 days, we're going to have a particular roadmap to knowing, even when we're talking about internships, service learning. See, the beauty of Sonoma State is we're a mid-sized CSU campus, mid-sized. But we have all the resources that every other college and university has. And the thing is, when you think in terms of the resources that you have allocated to you, that's why if you need Chromebooks, if you need noise reduction headphones, we want to make sure that whatever resources and that you need, whatever tools, that you have the best resources so that you can be the best student that you can be. Just last year, we sent 2 buses to UC Davis for the graduate forum, the California Forum for Diversity in Graduate Education. We sent 2 buses and they said, Sonoma? Yeah, Sonoma. Okay. You were choosing to attend one of the campuses in the largest system of higher education in the world, but Sonoma is in the top 4 most selective CSU campuses. Top 4. I'll share them with you. Cal Poly SLO, that's like the engineering campus. So we're talking about slow. San Diego State, everybody want to be in the warm beaches there. I know that, again, we got a lot of locals, but you know we have beautiful beaches over here. It's not as warm. But again, the idea of, and then you have Long Beach. Everybody wants to be on the beach. And then you have, and Sonoma. Little old Sonoma. Now, when I say little old Sonoma, you know I'm being facetious. But when you look at our students, 8 out of every 10 of our students are graduating, going on to professional schools. Those numbers speak for themselves. 8 out of 10. You're never going to have any classes that's taught by let's say a graduate. 80% of our faculty are PhD instruction. 80%. So that means that it's very common that you'll be having classes with professors either outdoors but these are the people that are going to be writing your letters of recommendation. These are the people that you're going to learn from. So again, now that you have worked so hard to get to this point, now it's time for us to start envisioning what we want this experience to be. So rest assured, this will be the most that I'll ever I'm a very knowledgeable person. And I just want to say that I think the best service of anyone is public service. That's my personal opinion. So to be able to be of service to you, I don't expect any of you to be rocket scientists. All of the questions that you have from, like I said, from financial aid, from selection of classes, from registration, with Julia and Kathy and myself, rest assured, we are committed to your support and making sure that you have an understanding. And we're not saying that you have to know everything in one day. So we're going to be in this together. We're going to continue to grow day in and day out. I'm going to pop in on some of your meetings that you will be in, but I also want to reiterate these modules that we have. And if I can go, Kathy, have you or Julia had time to go over any of like the day 1, day 2, 3 modules as far as Canvas?
Not yet. In terms of just reminding them of everything that was going on yesterday, we haven't had time to circle back on any of that.
Okay. Yet. So what I want to do, have all of you had an opportunity to actually just go on campus and take a peek in what these modules look like? Have all of you had an opportunity to do that? No, it's okay.
For my school, we had like a field trip to Sonoma State, and we like got a tour of all the buildings and like where everything was basically.
Okay, so Miguel, what you're saying is that you came on like one of the pre-college tours with your high school and came to visit. Okay, we're gonna have some virtual. We're gonna have some virtual things. We've set up a lot of for those of you that haven't had an opportunity to either to visit the campus. We have virtual tours for the campus, but we also have the resources as far as the student resources. Let me see if I can take you to the campus really quickly. Okay, it's 9:47. I'm going to take you to Canvas, but again, what I want you to do today is, Kathy, Julia, in your meetings, in your cohort meetings, because I will be connecting with you today, I want to make sure that I'm able to identify the students that are able to do one-on-ones through the course of 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. today. I would imagine on a daily basis, let let's say we'll start with 3 and 3. Three students from Julia's, 3 from Kathy, so that'll be 6. And again, as I'm able to get even beyond that, but again, I will also look to start scheduling appointments. So make sure you're paying attention to your emails.
Are you doing 30 minutes or are you doing 20 minutes?
You know, I'm gonna do half hour. What I like to do is be able to meet with students at least maybe 2, possibly 3 times before. I know that's a lot, especially doing like half-hour appointment. What I'll do is I'll do the first one's initial 20 minutes. I'll do 20 minutes. That way I can begin to understand what's the highest level of need as far as financial aid, making sure everything's in. So let's do 20 minutes. Again, I want Julia, 3 from Julia, 3 from your cohort, and then we'll continue that through the course of through July 2nd. But again, I'll also be following up with some of you based on whatever issues that I'm finding because I want to make sure that you're all okay. As we continue to develop a rapport with one another, you make sure that if there's any not so much anything that you think I can assist with, if there's anything that is affecting you while you're at home that is not allowing you to be fully engaged, I will need to know that as well because again, I have to make sure that I support you wholeheartedly. So we will develop a stronger relationship, but rest assured, like I said, I am your advocate, I am your lawyer. And if there's anything communicated by way of Kathy or Julia that's needed for you all, I'm going to be responding immediately. So I just, I don't want you late for anything else. Let me take a look here. Is everyone able to see my screen? And you can just do by way of thumbs up if everybody can see the screen. All right. Okay, so this is your canvas. This is the canvas mode. And all these icons here, these are the icons for the university. Now, again, with regards to today, let me see your canvas instruction, automatic courses. And again, we're going to take the time and become familiar with this. We're meeting every day. So we'll be meeting at the 9 o'clock hour. And then, let me see here. See, under Summer Bridge 2 cohort, it allows us to come into, of course, the welcome, but coming into the day 2, where it says start here to click for day 2, it should give a listing of things. So coming up on the 10 o'clock hour, you're going into your academic session with Dr. Ezra. So what I want you to do is that as we have time, and we're going to be going over this together, so we'll become more familiar with it together. But remember, all of this is our new program. And so again, it's laid out day by day. So I'm going to be taking drop-ins starting at 1 o'clock. So after you get out of the Bridge Leader breakout sessions, I'm going to start taking appointments starting at 1 o'clock. See that 1 to 5? And this will be the advising link that you'll use. And until we get familiar, again, like I said, I'm going to send some of you some appointments. But again, I'm going to make sure that I contact Julia and Kathy so that I'll know who I'm expecting. But rest assured that I'll be having one-on-one advising appointment with each and every one of you. So I just wanted to kind of give you a brief snapshot before you start going into your class. But again, I want you to understand that your faculty ally, Dr. Ezra and Dr. Chad Griffin, do not hesitate for any questions whatsoever. The introduction that you're having to Dr. Ezra, I firmly believe any student that comes to Sonoma State, you should not graduate or complete your degree without taking a class with Dr. Ezra. On the basis that you have access and firsthand access to him as during a summer orientation program, take full advantage. I will be in communication with him, and then I'll be meeting with you all very shortly. Kathy, Julia, I want to thank you all even early on. Armando's entered the waiting room. Armando, I'm glad that you made it to class this morning. And again, Armando, I want to make sure that you get into the 10 o'clock class with Dr. Ezra. Kathy, Julia, I'll be responding to you. I want to wish you all a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you soon. And again, remember, you are the ones that we've been waiting for. And there's a message from the Hopi elders. It goes a little bit like this. The message from the Hopi elders says there's a river running very fast, and you cannot be fearful. So as you thrust yourself into the middle of that river, let go of the sides of the river because the river has its destination. The river has its destination. What I'll tell you is that the way of the lone wolf is over. The way of the lone wolf. You're not in this by yourself anymore. So collectively, what we want you to know is that you're the ones that we've been waiting for. So rest assured, I'm thankful for all of those that have come before me and came before us to support us and getting to this point. But now it's time for us, as Alyssa said, to be accountable. We have to be accountable for what we take in. Education is a tool to combat ignorance, but we're going to be faced with ignorance for some time. So Kathy, Julia, you both have a wonderful day. All of you have a wonderful day, and I'll be in contact and thank you for your support. All right. You all have a good class, and I'll talk to you shortly. All right. See you all.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Kathy, Julia, the next time we come together, I know you guys are in your afternoon meeting. I will put us in breakout rooms. I didn't want to do it so much on the first portion, but the idea is, and again, because I have it down there, I like to put us in breakout rooms at least 2 times during that 50-minute period. So the 2 times that I like to put us in breakout rooms, I'm going to put us in breakout rooms for a 5 to 7 minute period, but we'll discuss that later. You all have a great class. Good to see you, Mike.
Hi, Andre.
All right. Have a great class.
Hi, Medina.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going, Kathy?
Good, you?
Good, good. Welcome, students. Miguel, thank you for turning your camera on.
Nice to meet you.
You too. Ramon, hello. Thank you. Appreciate it. Medina, Maria, I want to see your faces if possible. You could show us your learning environment here if possible. And we'll get started when everyone shows up, maybe a few minutes after the hour.
I believe Medina's having camera
Oh,
trouble.
okay, that happens.
Yeah,
Yes.
and then Maria's at work, so she
Oh,
can't.
yes, some people aren't able to do their camera, of course,
Yeah.
of course.
Just
No,
wanted
no
to let you know.
prejudice here. Just if you can do it, great. Low key. Welcome, Melissa. Welcome, Melissa. If you are able to go camera on, please do. I'd appreciate that. If not, I understand. Some of you are having some tech difficulties and others are at work. Others just might not be in a house that you can show what's going on right now. All right, Nadia, good to not see you, but know you're here. And again, anyone who can put their video camera on, please do. Tyler, welcome. Oh, good job, Nadia. Thank you. And thank you too, Melissa. Appreciate it. Hey, there's Alyssa. Okay, cool. All right, here comes the people. Very low key today. This isn't about passing and failing. Like I said, you're all going to pass. This is just get what you can get from this. Pay attention when you want to and don't when you don't, I guess, is the story here. And those of you just coming in, if you are able to turn on your video feed, if you don't have a technical difficulty or you're not at work or not in a home where you can't show what's going on right now, please do turn on your camera. But I understand if you cannot or just will not. All right, and we're at 10 o'clock, but we only have 14 out of 19. So we'll just, here's a couple more people. We'll start in a few minutes. We may or may not go the full 50 minutes. We'll see. We'll see what you guys want to do. I brought a lecture with me just in case no one participates. But let's see what I got here. Okay, 10 o'clock, just about ready. Got 17 here out of 19. We'll just wait 2 more minutes. And again, those of you just arriving, if you're able to, if you're not at work or you don't have any technical camera difficulties or you're not in a home situation where you are able to turn on the camera, please do show yourself if possible. This can also train you for the looking busy while you're really not paying attention aspect of your video college classes in your first semester as well. So you can develop some skills here. There we go. Thank you, Berto. Appreciate it. All righty, Kathy, what do you say we rev this up, huh? And Julie, I see you're my co-host too. Are you a Summer Bridge leader as well? Oh, we've never met. Nice to meet you.
She's super sweet and super smart.
Oh, all right then. Cool. Okay, let's begin. Hi, I'm Mike. Welcome to day 2 of Summer Bridge. The so-called homework for tonight is going to be, I have put in your modules a copy of this PDF. It says Baldwin PDF under day 2, but this is the actual piece, what it looks like. A Talk to Teachers by James Baldwin. It might be reversed in my camera here. So you're asked to read this for tonight and take some notes on it and submit the notes. Tomorrow's class, which will be the last one I teach for you until the end of the Summer Bridge, let's do this for tomorrow's class. You'll read it and you'll take your notes on it. But if you could also write down specifically for our discussion, A, what do you think is the most important concept that James Baldwin is talking about in this piece? If you had to come up with the thesis of the piece, a 1 or 2 sentence summary of the whole thing, like if someone were to ask you, well, what was this about? I didn't read it. Could you summarize it in 1 or 2 sentences? Try to do that for me. And like, tomorrow I'll ask everyone to read their summary if they will. Some of you will just say, I'm not reading it. And I'll be like, fine. And we'll see how people's summaries are different or the same. We can learn something from that. How different witnesses to the same text view it in different ways. And then the second thing I'd like you to do, in addition to what's written on your syllabus, is can you come up with one question about the Baldwin reading? Because we can base our seminar around those questions you asked. And again, the goal here in today is just to get you possibly comfortable with the idea of participating in a college seminar or discussion for 50 minutes. That's all this is. Some of you might feel today on this given day, not ready to do it yet. That's fine. But some of you might be ready, and it'll be good to hear your contributions. And I did get your homeworks and I sent them all back, and I thought almost all of them were excellent. And the ones that weren't excellent, I thought were good for as far as they went, and they just needed a longer effort, I thought. So everyone got the passing grade, and you always will as long as you hand everything in here. Okay, then. All righty. First, then, if you could grab your pen and your paper, I'm going to ask us to free write for about 3 minutes, if you will. I will right now, on any of the following questions. 1. Academically, what direction might you take in college? 2, what are you most excited about for college? 3, what are you most nervous about or insecure about for college? Yeah, so any of those 3. What direction might you take in college? What are you most excited for in college? Or what are you most scared of? So let's take 3 minutes till 10:08 to write about that. And then we'll see if there's any seminar participants here. And we'll start our college class. So we start with writing. So 3 minutes, I'm going to be quiet and I'm going to be writing.
Professor Ezra, can I just ask, in terms of direction, do you mean their major?
Oh, sure. It could be their major. It could be a subject they're most interested in studying, but they don't know what major it would necessarily be in. It can be just a topic they've been interested in. It can be about their social life and what they're trying to accomplish.
A passion of some sort.
Yes. So it can be just anything about the college experience that you may or may not want to get out of it. Okay, about 30 more seconds. All righty. And if you could finish that last thought. All right, so, and we'll see how long we can do this exercise for. It might just be one participant or zero. I mean, you know, I can't force anyone to do this. I'll go first, just so you can see a model of this. And like so many other things, I think public speaking and being honest about yourself and even speaking about yourself in public, it takes practice. Many of you come from backgrounds probably where the emphasis is on being humble. Actually, the emphasis is on listening, especially to elders. The emphasis is on not being heard. And in college, the opposite is true. Kind of you're expected to speak, sometimes even when you don't have that much to say. And oftentimes you will find in your classes the airwaves being somewhat cluttered by those who speak too much. And being a dominant speaker like I'm doing right now is not the best way to run a seminar. You want to share the floor with everybody. But at times, you may come from a place where you talking is devalued by default. Not in college. It's kind of the opposite, that speaking is valued by default, even if you're not saying that much. So erring on the side of being quiet or being talkative, unfortunately, we have too much of this in America as it is. I would say err on the side of actually being talkative. It won't look like you're immodest. It will look like you're someone who's participating in the class. Kathy, talk to us.
I'm just relaying the message that Maria answered because she can't speak because she's at work right now. But she said that one, she wants to become a child psychologist, and that's kind of the direction she's going towards. She's most excited to get to know others, including her summer bridge group, and she's most nervous about failing overall.
Okay. Okay, and I just got a private message about the homework. Okay, so the read that again, please. Kathy, what was that?
The direction she wants to take her academic career is child psychology.
Okay.
And she is most excited to get to know others in the campus and that sort of thing. And she's most nervous about failing.
Yeah. Okay, great. Great. So I'll read mine first, and then we'll see if a hand goes up and someone wants to read theirs. Now, you can still participate in a seminar without talking because there's a second aspect of this, and that's listening. Now, when I'm teaching a seminar, I'm not only looking at who's speaking, I'm actually seeing around the room who's paying attention, who's taking notes. And so you can write down a follow-up question to anyone who's speaking. Raise your hand, ask the follow-up. That's a form of college participation too. So you might have a follow-up question for me or for someone else. So I'll go first and then we'll see where this goes. You know, no pressure here. All right. What I was most excited for in college was the exact same thing I was nervous about in college. And I have to tell you right here, it was not grades, it was getting the ladies, which I will tell you right now, I did not. But you asked what I was nervous about, Professor, so that was it. As far as the academics went, I always figured that as long as I tried, I would be fine. But I have to admit, I did not try in high school. And I guess maybe deep down, somewhere, I guess that I feared I would not try in college either. And then at that point, I would be like, now what? So that took me 3 minutes to write. So in 30 seconds to read. Okay, so does anyone want to be brave and step up and read their thing? And then we'll ask you some follow-up questions. Okay, great. So Miguel is here. I'm going to unmute him. Well, he can unmute now. Okay, Miguel's on the floor.
All right, so what I wrote is I'm most excited to start my own journey and accomplish all the goals I set for myself. All in all, I hope to make my parents proud and be able to give them the world someday. I am also excited to meet new people and learn new things that I can use to my knowledge.
Great. Excellent. Thank you. All right, let's ask some follow-up questions here. All right, I'll ask the first follow-up question. As far as meeting new people, Miguel, for what purpose? What do you,
just to like learn like about different cultures and all that. That would be really interesting.
when you hang out with people, like what is it that you like to do? Like if you met up with people at Sonoma State, what do you envision yourself doing with them?
Possibly just like hanging around, listening to music, and finishing our work, because that's something I've always been very like on it, because I'm always like on it because I'm very busy. I work, so I always have to manage my time wisely. So I set time to do my homework, so I have time to go to work. You know.
Excellent.
I'm not sure if I'm making sense, but
you're doing great. You're doing great. Now, so okay, in college, by far you are going to be the worst judge of yourself.
Yeah.
Everyone's self-esteem is going to be lower than their actual performance. And like very often you'll be your own worst enemy. You know, the idea that you can't do it will come mostly from you, not from other people. The idea that you got into this college signifies that you can pass this college.
Yeah.
And actually what I found, so my grades were worse in high school than in undergraduate college, and then worse in undergraduate college than in graduate school. And I'll tell you the reason, because in high school, they made me do all the things I didn't want to do and was not good at. So I did worse in chemistry, worse in language, and good in social sciences, social studies. So then in college, I majored in social studies and I did even better. And then in graduate school, I majored in something even more specific and did even better. So you'll be able to pick the classes you want and do well. Does anyone have Oh yeah. Anyone have follow-ups for Miguel? One follow-up? Someone with a hand? All right, sir. There he is. Thank you. Okay. Anyone want to be the next one to give it a try? Get out there. Thank you so much, Melissa. Okay, we're going to unmute. All right, you can unmute now. Oops, sorry, there we go. Okay, should work now.
Okay.
Thank you.
I said I'm most excited to also like meet new people and make friends and also join clubs. And I'm really nervous for like new classes, and I just hope to try my best. So I hope I don't fail.
And that's so interesting to me because like, see, that's what I was nervous about in college, that I would not like, that I never tried my best before at anything. You know, I grew up kind of privileged, didn't have to really. And so when I got to college, I didn't know whether I was actually capable of like reaching my potential of doing something right even. Luckily I had some teachers there who showed me when I was doing something wrong. That was helpful. What kind of clubs? Tell me about interest in clubs. Anything in particular? Like, what did you do extracurricularly in high school?
In high school, I was part of my Metcha club and also Key Club.
Key Club and Metcha.
Yeah.
So community service and Latinx heritage.
Yeah.
So you'll have a chance to do both or even combine both. What are you going to major in? Do you know yet?
Psychology.
Psych. Okay, great. Any follow-up questions for Melissa? I don't want to give it a shot. All right, you've done it. That's college seminar action right there. Now, the best seminars are when students start reacting to students, although it's our first day. Usually at the beginning, the professor everything bounces off the professor and the professor dominates. But eventually, students start just chatting with one another and the professor just goes to the side eventually, which is nice. You get paid the same amount. All right, who wants to take a shot now? Oh, terrific. Okay, we have Nadia and Savannah. So we'll do Nadia first, then Savannah. Okay, there she is.
So I basically wrote about what I'm most nervous about.
Okay.
I'm utterly nervous about my overall ability to understand. I'm nervous that I don't have the right foundation or skill set to keep up with the classes. I'm afraid that I will become overwhelmed with the workload and feel unable to do it. I'm not sure that I have enough discipline to keep myself motivated, and I'm scared of remote learning at college level.
All legitimate. Anyone want to comment first before me? See any hands? Berto, you want a shot at it? All right, he's going to do it. He's coming in. Yes, time mute. There we go.
I was thinking because I don't really have a question. It was pretty self-explanatory. You just give me some more time.
Oh, sure. Back to mute. No problem at all. Okay, let's see. So your overall ability and foundation. Well, no one really knows what that is, but I am here to tell you that college, the concepts are not hard. I found like high school math concepts to be much harder than the college social sciences concepts that I was dealing with. What do you want to major in?
Sociology.
Okay, fine, right. So I mean, you're going to have to take a very limited amount of math and science classes, and there sometimes the concepts can get out of hand if you're not good like that. But for social, there's not going to be a single thing any teacher ever says that you don't understand on the first try. I predict that. As far as being overwhelmed by the work, now that could happen. That could definitely happen. But I think that one of the most important skills to learn as a college student is understanding what work needs to be done well, what work needs to be done and what work just does not need to be done. You know, because like, okay, not every book that every professor assigns is a great book. The idea that you should do 100% of all the work that is assigned to you simply because it is assigned to you, and that's the right thing, that's crazy. First of all, a lot of the work that you will be assigned in college is busy work. Sometimes you will be assigned reading a book that is never evaluated, and that book's not necessarily the best book ever written on the subject that you don't even want to learn about anyway. You're taking it because it's a GE class. So in certain situations, you know, this class has a heavy reading load, but it's not really tested on. Some of those books you might not read. You might take the course credit, no credit, so you can do a minimal amount of work in that class. And like, I'm not telling you to be anti-intellectual. I'm a college professor. I love this stuff. But even in college, even in high school, I mean, I simply did not have the time to do every single thing that was assigned to me. It would have actually been impossible. So I think you will be overwhelmed by the work, but then you will figure out how to make selective choices about what work to prioritize, what work to put second, what work to put third. And I feel that's a skill you'll develop over time. Then you'll choose the right professors who don't make you do too much busy work, and by your senior year or junior year, you'll be professional at it, pretty much. Remote learning too, I think, is scary, but there's something working to your advantage, which is that the professors aren't used to it. The professors know it's not the norm. And the professors also generally feel pretty bad for the students right now because of what's happening to you and not being able to go to college like every other cohort before you. I think there's a lot of sympathy. I think there'll be a lot of generosity with grading. And I think there'll be a lot of simplicity in the assignments format too. So I think that the grades will actually skew very positively in your first year. And I think that'll work to your advantage. Okay, so I'll mute Nadia and we'll go into Savannah now. There she is.
Okay, so I wrote about like the direction of college and like my academic career that I want to go into.
Okay.
So college has always been an idea instilled in my brain as mandatory. Straight A's were the only option. Now, with that said, this has affected my perspective, mindset, and overall mental health in ways I can't put into words. While majoring in psychology, I plan on focusing on adolescent LGBTQ youth. Knowing the struggle they face from firsthand experience, I feel being able to establish that connection is great. And I also feel that like having a healthy mindset is something that a lot of people take for granted in a way. I feel like being stable and having that foundation is kind of taken for granted, and it's not realized that a lot of people have that handed to them.
Great, good. Anyone want to ask a follow-up question here? All right, then I will ask a follow-up question here. So you must put a great deal of pressure onto yourself then, in terms of your grades and things like that.
Yeah, I was grounded when I was younger for getting B's. Like
Right.
it's always been in my head, like straight A's is the only way to go. So I do have a lot of pressure on myself to like be the best, I guess, when I know in reality, like that's not realistic.
Well, you could go through college with straight A's, but I think it's important to realize that there are some professors who it's not like they're not willing to ever give out an A or anything like that, but it's more like they don't give them out too easily, and a small percentage loss at the beginning of the semester could pretty much disqualify you from that. You might be looking at an A- or a B+. The question for you is going to be, what kind of mental adjustment are you able to make if that happens? Because like a grade is a two-way street. It's not only the student, it really is what the professor is willing to give on as well. There just might be some profs who refuse. I remember actually, I got a 2-page long email from a student. The first non-A they ever got in their last semester was in a class with me. An older student, like 40 years old, B+. I would have gladly changed her grade to an A- if she just asked, but instead she chose to like curse me out in an email, so oh well. Yeah, so you're not the only one who cares about keeping their straight A's for sure. One thing though, you know, as a professor, now here's a move that I can't say it backfires on students because I would never like take revenge on a student. I don't feel it that way. I don't take it personal, but I definitely don't like it at all when a student says to me, I really want to get an A in your class. Now, a lot of students say that thinking like, I'm just telling the professor that I'm for real, you know, that I'm with them, that I'm trying hard and like, I'm going to do anything I can to get an A in your class. Like, but usually the professor, or I can't say usually the professor, but me and other professors I've talked to too, they kind of see it as a form of lobbying almost. Not really a form of intimidation so much, but a form of like, okay, if you don't give me an A, I'm going to like come and ask you why I didn't get an A on this paper. You know, I might complain to your department chair. You know, they're probably not going to do that. And like, you know, professors don't really, I mean, you work out your problems with your students. There's nothing to be afraid of on either side of it. But just keep, I wouldn't say keep your ambition to yourself, but let your work do the talking for you. Let your work show that you're an A student and your attendance. You don't have to verbalize that to a professor ever, I would say. Because my always response is like, I mean, who doesn't want to get an A? I mean, you know, actually, if you were ever to do that rap to a professor, you might say, I want to earn an A in your class. How can I earn an A in your class? You know, not to say that you were going to do that or anything. Let me tell you too, the Women and Gender Studies department is going to have a lot of LGBTQ emphasis, including the Psych of Gender course, which cross lists. So you might endemically to your studies get a minor in Women and Gender Studies. Just by doing your psych major, you'll be able to get 8 units of WGS. And similarly, Melissa, was it you who had joined MECHA? So there's Chicano Latino Studies at Sonoma State, a whole department with 2 new hires. So you might cross list and dip into Chicano Latino Studies as well. And there is a 4-credit MECHA program, 1 unit per semester. So you can pick up 8 units at Sonoma State just by being in MECHA. It's all pass-fail units too. So no one's gonna fail you at MECHA. How do you fail MECHA? I guess you don't come. All right, so who was talking besides me? All right, I don't know. Oh yeah, Savannah. Okay, we're finished. All right, does anyone want to go next? Will anyone dare raise their hand? There he goes. Berto is coming for the 2nd time now. Here he goes. I tried to unmute you. Let me try again. There we go, Umberto. Go ahead.
So in high school, I took a philosophy course, and it was just because I needed to get a history credit in, and it was being offered at my school, and I really liked it, and that's the direction I want to take in college. I'm not sure what's at the end of the path for me, but I just want to take the course because I like the class. As to what I'm most excited about, I'm most excited about like living independently, without anybody like on constantly on my back, because as I was during high school, I was always being monitored. My mom was a helicopter mom. She was always above me. And then what I'm most nervous about, I think I'm most nervous about uh, I guess integrating well into the school, because I came from a predominantly white school, uh, as I'm sure many of you guys did as well, and and I guess it was hard for me to adjust at first, which ended up, I guess, ruining my high school experience. Um, and I wish not to do that this time. I guess. Oh, so I guess participate in like in school life, like clubs and whatnot.
Excellent. Okay. All right. Integrating well. Someone has come outside here, Addie. Do you want to show yourself to my class there real fast? Here, my little daughter has come out here for a second. She wants to meet all of you, so there she is. Okay. There you go. Someone's over here. Okay, sweetheart. You can stay right next to me. It's okay. Okay. Pardon that interruption, Berto. So as living independently, I feel the same way as you, but I got to say, I went too far. I went way too far. I ate very poorly. I got to admit, even as a first-year student, I drank way too much alcohol. I don't do that. You'll do what you want to do, but I mean, I just, you know what I did? I actually decided that I was going to hang out with a certain group of people, and I just got really insulated. Like I had 10 friends, so I felt like a big man, but there was a whole college campus happening around me that I had no clue about. I just basically went to parties at night and did schoolwork during the day. There was no diversity to my experience whatsoever. I thought I was fitting in, but for 4 years I was in a bubble, really. So I would say like the greatest thing someone could do in college is probably hang with people who are not like them. The tendency would be to gravitate towards people, for me, just like me. And that was a huge mistake, not embracing the diversity of college. And I see you talking about that transition from the white high school to Sonoma State. Anyone have any follow-up questions for Berto? Oh, and Kathy, you got a hand up, huh?
Yes,
Go ahead.
I'm very professional.
Whoa.
I just think in terms of, like, I want to let y'all talk, obviously, as students, but I think this is a good moment for maybe me and Julia to jump in terms of just feeling like integrating into a predominantly white school. I went to a predominantly white high school, but, you know, I'm also white passing as a Latina. So I have a very different experience to a lot of different people, and just seeing that I felt uncomfortable, I tried to put a positive twist on it and seeing like, this is the way that the world works. So the amount of debates, I can't even tell you, the amount of debates I've gotten in classes about politics and human rights and Black Lives Matter and like all these different things, it pisses you off in the moment. And it might feel like, I don't want to go here. I don't want to do this anymore. I can't believe I'm here with people that don't think the same way that I do. But you have to think about it. This is the reality of the world that we live in. You know, not everyone is going to agree with you. And you can't let it push you to a point where it's making you lower yourself to that level of you not wanting to get a degree. Because the whole point of this program that you're in, and the reason that Michael Ezra is your teacher, is to teach you that diversity and pushing boundaries and everything is half what the reality of the situation is in the populations of diverse students we have on campus, and half of it is what you're willing to do with that. So I completely get when you get frustrated and everything, but just remember that, you know, this is a good learning experience too, to see, okay, well, if someone's coming at my neck and telling me that Black lives don't matter, how am I going to say this to them? And then if I can't explain it to a point where they understand, am I going to waste my time trying to educate them versus another group of people, if that makes any sense?
Yeah. How about you, Julia?
I agree, but that's like not the direction I was heading towards. I was talking more like I don't want to like close myself off from opportunities just because everyone else is not like me. Not like getting into heated discussions based on differences. I just wanted to make that clear.
And, you know, differences, they might not just, I mean, be about the political categories, you know, race, class, gender, sexuality. When I taught my first year learning community last year, I was stunned at how many people had roommate issues. Trying to integrate yourself with the person you're living with. That's a tricky situation potentially. I'm not sure what to do about that yet, but if you find yourself in a situation where you are not feeling who you're living with, and that there is a certain intolerance toward who you are for whatever reason, you can change your living arrangement. And I would say in my first year learning community, a full 25% of the students changed roommates. I'd say 7 out of 30. But thank you for those comments, Berto. I do appreciate it. Okay. And Julia, did you have anything to add about what Kathy was talking about?
I mean, it was kind of the same experience for me because I also came from a predominantly white high school, but I had the same fear of shutting myself out because I wouldn't be able to see people like me of my community. But it's also going back to that embracing differences. And for me, I relied a lot on CASE because it was just a community of diversity. And that was just something that was really helpful for me. And I think it's just, if you're going to live on campus, to not stay in your room all the time is something that's super helpful, because that could also make you cut off other people when you're not intentionally doing it. So I would just say to find a community that works for you, supporting you and helping you.
And can you just follow them up real fast, like what CASE stands for?
It's Center Academic for Student Enrichment.
Okay.
I think I'm missing a word in there, but I'm pretty sure
Center
that's
for
it.
Academic Student Enrichment. I think that's right. There's also counseling services here at Sonoma State for free. There's a lot of stuff offered to students that you can look into. Basically, like whatever your problem is, there's something for it. If you got a cough, it's the health center. If you got depression, there's counseling services. There's all sorts of services for students that they don't take advantage of. You know, one thing I might suggest, this is a little bit of an out there suggestion. I haven't thought of it much. Sometimes something comes out of your mouth and the minute it comes out, you're like, oh shit, I shouldn't have said that. But I'm gonna throw this at you anyway, because this is something for me, college. Now it's 25 years since I was at college. I'm a full generation older than you at this point. I'm 50 almost. So we didn't really talk about what toxic masculinity was when I was in high school. And I was a toxic male in college to a degree. Like I became less toxic thanks to my education in African-American studies, where I learned about how my whiteness and my maleness influenced how I be to the world. But I might suggest to some of you, and this is an out there suggestion, if you have time to get into a women and gender studies class early in your career and learn about sort of how you fit into the matrix of gender and sexuality, which is such an important part of your identity as a college student, to formally study that and to know like what baggage is not a nice word, but what psychology you're carrying around before you get there, I think is very helpful for someone's mental health. It really helps them. Part of the challenges of college are going to be sexual ones, actually. And it'll be good for you to have that kind of like meta knowledge about how us human beings are influenced by that sort of situation. Part of me being isolated with this group of friends who drank a lot as a young college student was about being a toxic male who didn't understand and was insecure about his own gender, I would say, without even knowing it. Yeah, I would have told you I was the most secure guy in the world, not a care. But so classes on race, classes on sexuality, where you figure out how these categories were formed long before you ever showed up on Earth, and how Latinx has been there before you're born, but Latinx affects how many of you are right now. Learning that history is helpful. So for me, I wish I took a history of masculinity course. It would have told me about myself in ways that have prevented me from getting in a little self-esteem issues, I would say. Okay, does anyone else want to give it a chance here? Talk in front of the class? Hear your voice? All right. That is fine with me. Now, I do want to go the distance here. So then, I have my little lecture now then. I'll keep it to maybe 5 minutes even. I'm going to introduce you to two fundamental concepts in American life. In all my classes, I actually start the first day on this. And you'll hear a bit of yourself in this lecture here. And we're not going to test you on it or ask you about it. I just want you to hear what college concepts are like. Now, this is a low to moderate. It's not a low concept. It's a low to moderate college concept. So if you can understand what I'm saying now, you can understand a moderately hard college concept. Okay. So true or false, in your opinion, if you get an education, go to college, act right, and work hard in America, you will succeed and you will get the things you need to live a good quality life. True or false? Or better yet, how true, how false? Because it's somewhat true, somewhat false. How about this one? True or false? Anybody can make a decent wage in the United States if they want to, if they have the proper drive and determination. True or false? What we just heard are two questions which are relevant to the themes of, I'll put them here in the chat, agency and structure. There they are, agency and structure. Which in America right now do you think is more important to a person realizing their goals and dreams in life? Do you think it's the person themselves, their intelligence, their attitude, their work ethic, the choices they make, their outlook on life? How important is that to whether someone succeeds or fails in life versus the environment they were born into? Whether their parents had wealth, what zip code they grew up in, who they know, whether they have a chance to go to college, what they inherit, both in terms of money and in terms of cultural capital, their access to resources. How important is that in whether a person succeeds or fails in America? If you say that the person themselves is the most important variable as to whether someone makes a good living in America or not, then you believe primarily in the theory of agency. That pretty much anyone can make it in America if they work hard, if they try hard. Some of you, on the other hand, believe in the theory of structure, which says that more or less our positions in life are inherited. Generally, the children of people in poverty will be in poverty. Generally, the children of people in wealth will be in wealth. Generally, the children of people of middle class will wind up middle class in their lives. That there's a little bit of variation in American life, but mostly the story is told at birth that the average person in America stays right where their family is. Yeah, of course, there's some up and down mobility in the United States, but the true story is not land of opportunity. The true story is land of inheritance. Now, both of these are obviously true, and both of these are obviously false. We know about the person who came here to this country with nothing, worked really hard, scrapped, saved, built up a business, and now their kids are going to go to college and have a much easier life. So we know America is the story of hard work, but we also know that that person's children are going to inherit a better life, and they're going to have better chances than their parents did. So both agency and structure are contributions to whether you succeed in America or not. Agency is your talents and your behaviors, what you do and how you act, your character, your capability, your ability to get what you want, knowing how to get ahead, your work ethic, your talents, your smarts, your skills. It's not whether you're a good or bad person. It's just your hustle, your ability to get stuff done. Now, that obviously does play a role in your success or failure, but check it out. None of you will probably ever win the 100-meter sprint at the Olympics, no matter how hard you work at it, right? You don't have the bodies. So there's some stuff you can't control in life. That's your structure. So structure is a way to put it, the hand you are dealt in life. That's a great way of putting it. It's your access to resources. It's your family's connections. It's how well your politicians represent your town and take care of you. It's whether you can get health care or not. It's whether you have network access to a job. So agency is your ability to have an influence on Sonoma State, to have an influence on your environment, to take control of your life and do something with it. But structure is the limitations and barriers that prevent you from doing so, or the advantages and privileges that can help you do so. So in some ways, my structure worked to my advantage. My parents paid for college, so I didn't have to work during college, and I didn't have debt in college. So that background helped me. On the other hand, I was spoiled growing up. I didn't have to work hard for things. And so when I got to college, coming from that privileged structure, I was lost when I had to do stuff for myself. And so I resorted to a lot of partying and goofing off. My agency was both good and bad. At first, my agency was that of a party boy who didn't really care. And I chose to be goofy. But then eventually I decided that I did want to try and that I was smart enough and that I had the ability and I could ask people for help and I could stay up late and get the work done. And my agency then worked to my advantage. And I remember my father working late at night as a lawyer doing his work. So that was in my background too, even though they chose to treat me like a spoiled little baby. They weren't spoiled little babies. So I had that in my background to refer to. That was part of the hand I was dealt in life. Agency and structure. So the question comes down to what degree does your effort alone explain your success or failure in life, in the United States, or even at Sonoma State? So to conclude the lecture, do people get what they deserve in the United States? And is college any different? If there is a gap between you and other students structurally in terms of your background, how can we find a way to close that gap? EOP Summer Bridge is one of those ways. Some people go to college with parents who went to college and they just already know what it is they have to do. But if you didn't have that experience, Summer Bridge is going to help shrink that gap. So that's what Summer Bridge and EOP is. It's a structure put in place to help students who already have the agency ready to succeed in college, who just need a little bit of linguistic training. Figure that this is a foreign language. This is an international language. This is different than the language we're used to speaking. So we're going to train you to speak college. That's what Summer Bridge is. That's what these lessons are. So do people get what they deserve in life? True or false? Anyone with a proper discipline and drive can move from a lower class to a higher class in the United States these days. True or false? If you work hard and play by the rules in America, you will achieve the American dream. True or false? Poverty is not an individual failure for most people, but a statistical probability from birth. So maybe then, the way to judge success in college is not by necessarily your final grades, but by how far you've come. How much has your agency improved from the beginning of college to the end? How much have your skills improved? Because I can tell you this, I wrote a law school recommendation for a student that had failed out in their first year and only wound up with a 2.8 GPA. And they got into law school at Sacramento State, in part because their story was a good one. They started off college not trying, not doing well, but they eventually got together. They knuckled down. In their final year, they had a 3.9. And we were able to say in our letters of recommendation that this is a student who didn't know where they were at first, but figured out what they were going to do in college. And now they're sure they want to be a lawyer, and look at them in their 4th year of school getting a 3.9. It's pretty clear they have the skills. And then they wrote a great essay for their letter, for their application, and they got in. So what you're going to do in college is create a narrative for yourself and perform and create an identity for yourself that you'll take out there onto the job market. And so that's what we're doing in these classes. Are there any final questions here before we cease for the day? I know, right? So that's another good thing about college. Do not be the student who asks a question with 1 minute to go when the professor, I'm the professor and I look at those students like, are you crazy, man? Let's go. Time to leave. But anyway, okay. Thank you for listening to me babble for 50 minutes. We'll do James Baldwin tomorrow. We'll try to have a proper seminar. And if not, I'll just hijack it and talk. Take care. I'll stay here, but you guys go.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye. I'll stay, Julia.
Hello.
Hey, Chad, I'll pass this over to you now.
Perfect. Hello, Julia.
Hello.
There we are. Are you admitting people, or is that me?
I can admit people.
Okay, we can both do it.
Okay.
Hello. Wait a couple minutes as people come into the class. Let's see, let me find. Okay, so we got 16 people. One of them's me. Two of them are our bridge leaders, so that means we have 13 people. I think I should probably wait a couple more minutes. Because we have about 20 or so. Well, while I wait, does anybody have any questions? Miguel asks, how are you? And I think that's a question to everybody. Thumbs up here. Thumbs up here. Okay. Thank you, Berto. Speaker view. All right. We'll give it one more minute. Okay, I got 5 after. I think we should get going now. Any problems with the homework? Did the homework go okay? Everybody have their data? Okay, and it's okay to do like a thumbs up or raise your hand if you want to say something. And then Julie and Kathy our bridge leaders can verify. If a student wants to talk, they can just unmute themselves. I don't have to be the one that unmutes them, right? Okay, good. So hopefully that went well. Hold on to that for right now. I have created a Google form for you to enter those in, and we'll kind of aggregate, get that data into a spreadsheet. But we're going to create more data today, so we're going to use what we do today to add to that that survey. Let me go ahead. I don't see any questions, so let me go ahead and get into what we're going to do today. I'll start by sharing my screen. Okay, so let's see. Let me put myself at the, close this one. Log in like I'm a student. So here we are in the home page of our Canvas page for Summer Bridge, Cohort 2. And let's just go down to day 2. And so I'll scroll down to the quantitative reasoning portion. Click here. So hopefully everybody can do that. And today we're going to talk about data. So first of all, there are a couple types of data. We have what we call categorical data, which is often referred to as qualitative data. So the data responses usually get divided into groups, where each response gets placed into one of 2 or more categories. As an example, I could ask everybody a question here. I just pose a question to the class. I could say, have you ever been to the Sonoma State campus? Many of you may say yes, many of you may say no. Well, those are 2 categories, yes and no in that case. So that's an example of categorical data or a categorical variable. And then we have quantitative data. In quantitative data, the data responses are numerical values. Mathematical operations like adding and averaging make sense for quantitative data. For example, I could ask everyone, how tall are you in inches? And so you're going to record a numerical quantity, and you know, so my height's 73 inches. So, and if we took everybody's height, we could find the average height in our classroom, things like that. So those are our 2 general types of data. Sometimes some of them are a little bit tricky. You can have quantitative data and turn it into categories. For example, you could take like the heights and divide it into short and tall, and just cut it off somewhere like it, I don't know, some height like 5'6" or something like that. And so so depending on what type of data we decide to generate, and it's more about how we decide to use it that determines whether it's categorical or quantitative data. So let's read this. You have already spent some time gathering data about yourself in last night's homework. Now let's try collecting information from your peers. What are you interested in learning about your classmates? Maybe you're interested in what they're studying, or maybe you wonder how far your classmates live from SSU campus, or how many siblings they have. We're going to break into groups and spend some time getting to know each other. So the general idea here is that each group is going to come up with 4 questions that you're interested in asking the class. Hopefully those 2 questions, two of those questions will be categorical responses and 2 of them will be quantitative responses, but at least you should be able to recognize those 2 types of data. So let me stop sharing my screen for a minute and just see if we have any questions. I'm going to let Zoom kind of randomly put us into groups. And what I'm going to be careful with is the bridge leaders. We'll just see how that works out. Try to make sure that the bridge leaders aren't in the same group and you end up in a group with a bridge leader. So let me see. It's been a while since I've done this. It's down here, breakout rooms. So we have 15 participants, 3 people per group. I think we need, yeah, 3 to 4 per room. Let's see here. So I want to make, this one here. Make sure we have at least 3 students in each group. I think that works. Okay, so here we go. You're going to get an invitation to join a group, and then I'm going to spend some time try to get into each group for just like a minute or so, see how it's going. So kind of be patient. We'll have a few groups, and it takes me a couple minutes to get around and see everybody. For right now, when we first get in, just get to know each other. Introduce yourselves if you don't already know each other, and I will be in your group in just a minute. So here we go. Accept your invitation.
Hello.
Hello. Let's see. We got everybody back. Okay. So now I think it's hard for me to figure out, looking at everybody, who was in what group. So I had you labeled as group 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let's go over some of the questions. So everybody has at least 3 or 4 questions. So I think that I will type those into a Microsoft Word document, and we'll try to go through a process over the next few minutes of figuring out what we as a class want to have be in our survey. So already in our surveys, everything that you did last night. And so we're going to use that. And so we're going to add these questions to our survey. So let's start with group 1. Does group 1 know who it was? I think Tyler was in group 1 and Alyssa was in group 1. Let's start with your questions. I'm going to minimize here. What did you have?
We had the number of siblings, height, what we're majoring in, and ice cream flavor, favorite ice cream flavor.
What are you majoring in? And favorite ice cream flavor. Okay, good. And you know what? I think I'm going to share my screen, and I think this will work, but we'll see. Share. There we go. So I just typed those. How many siblings? Are in your family? There. It's a question. And let's see here. What are you majoring in? So how many siblings are in your family is probably quantitative, but it could be an example of one that's treated categorically. What is your height? That looks like a quantitative variable or quantitative data. What are you majoring in? Looks like a category. And favorite ice cream flavors. That one I think is a lot of fun because I don't know. I just went to the ice cream shop a couple days ago and I picked out a lot of stuff. So it makes me wonder what people's favorite ice cream flavor is. Okay, so the next group. I'm not sure who that is. Do we have a volunteer? Maybe somebody in the next group can share their questions.
I'll go because I was in group number 2.
Okay, group 2, thank you.
We did what kind of music do you listen to? What makes you laugh the most? And then we did, do you sleep with socks on?
Ooh.
That's the question. That's the most important question. And favorite movie genre. Like, what is your favorite movie genre?
Do you sleep with socks on? That one's fun. And favorite movie genre? What is your... Okay, and let's see. I think the tough one there is what makes you laugh the most, because I think we would have to define categories for people. Not that it's not a great question. It's a great question. It just gets into long explanations that we have trouble categorizing. Okay, thank you so much, group 2. How about group 3? How about group 3? I can't remember who was in group 3, but I think one of the bridge leaders was in group 3. We have a volunteer, maybe?
I think that was our group, right?
Let me stop sharing for a second. Is it
pretty sure.
Julia's group?
Yeah.
Julia's group. Okay, yeah. Let me go back to sharing my screen.
I mean,
Great.
I can
Go
read
ahead.
them.
Go ahead.
So we had, how many siblings do you have? How many miles away is Sonoma State from you? And then, are you in SoCal or NorCal? And the other one was, do you prefer Burger King or McDonald's?
Ooh. How far away? So the second one's how far away are you from SSU?
Yeah.
Are you in NorCal or SoCal? Is anybody not in California? Out of curiosity. It's possible. Okay. And then do you prefer Burger King or McDonald's?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see there. So I think how many siblings? That's probably a quantitative question, and other groups came up with that one as well. How far are you from SSU? I would guess that's probably in miles. And so that's a good quantitative question. Are you in NorCal or SoCal? I think that most people know whether they're in Northern California or Southern California, but I myself am not really sure where we draw the line. Is that, where do we draw the line? Anybody know? South of the Bay Area, maybe an hour, I don't know. But wherever you feel like you belong, or whatever group you're in. And do you prefer Burger King or McDonald's? Okay, definitely a categorical question. Okay, we have one more group. And that would have had our other bridge leader in it, Kathy. So what did that group come up with? Let me see here. Let me stop sharing for a second. Okay. Do we have somebody in the fourth group that would like to share their questions? Let's see. Kathy,
Yeah,
who's in?
I'll go.
Thank you, Yair.
So one of our questions were how old are you?
Okay.
Do you have any pets?
I like that one. Do you have any pets? Okay.
And I think the other one was what type of pets? And then our last one was what's your major? But someone already has that.
Oh, that's okay. It's okay. I think if I see two people with the same question, I think two groups with the same question, I think that's good, because I'm like, maybe we'll pick that one. What is your major?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have, great. Thank you everybody for sharing. So here's our list so far. Let me zoom out a little bit so we can see everything. How many siblings are in your family? What is your height? What are you majoring in? So that was asked twice. So one way we look at categorical variables is, so every response gets put into one category. So what are you majoring in is a good example of that. Somebody might major in English, somebody might major in business, somebody might major in music. Like a pie chart's probably a good example of a way to look at categorical variables. Favorite ice cream flavor. I think one problem we might have, so I know where this class is heading. When we end up with questions where we have too many categories, a lot of times we have to figure out ways to lump them into smaller categories. ice cream flavors maybe would be a good example of that, but majors sometimes is a good example of that because I'm not sure how many majors we have at Sonoma State, but it's probably it's a lot. I mean, just in the math and sciences, we have maybe 10 majors or something like that. And so sometimes when we go to do a pie chart, we end up with a whole bunch of pieces of pie, which is okay. Some of the other graphical displays we do might cause us to move some of those majors into broader categories. Let's see here. I'm trying to figure out a good process for us to narrow down some of our favorite questions here. So what kind of music do you listen to? That's a good one. What makes you laugh the most? I think that one's going to be tough. So we might have to, I like the question a lot, but I think that would be a good question if I wanted you to write an essay or something like that. Do you sleep with socks on? That one's really fun. That's original. Favorite movie genres? Definitely, I think, gonna work. I think, how many movie genres are there? Maybe 6, 7? There's probably more. I think drama, action, comedy, horror. Are there others? Drama, comedy, action, horror. Probably, there's probably more, but sometimes we create the categories and we force you into a response. So with what type of music do you listen to? That would be one where we probably pick the categories, because when we create a survey, we're gonna have to decide what categories we want. So, okay, moving on down the list. How many siblings do you have? That one was pretty popular. A couple people chose that one. I like the how far are you from SSU? I'm curious, how many people here, I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second. How many people here have been to the Sonoma State campus? Just raise your hand. Okay, cool. So it looks to me like about 2/3 of you have been to the Sonoma State campus, but this is a very unique set of circumstances we're in, where here we are, and some of you still not been to the Sonoma State campus. Well, okay, I was just curious that, because we're all in this kind of new pandemic shelter in place sort of situation for the first time, and it's just different. That question never would have occurred to me in the past. Okay, let's see here. Are you in NorCal or SoCal? Do you prefer Burger King or McDonald's? I guess. How old are you? Do you have any pets? What type of pets do you have? What is your major? So what type of pets do you have? I think that is, we could leave that on its own, or that could be part of number 14. What I'm picturing is that we pick our 4 favorites and try to find a process for doing that. And I'm not quite sure how to narrow it down. Let's see here. I keep my screen shared here. Is there a way I could have, maybe through the chat room, so here I have 16 questions. And what if I had everybody pick their 2 favorite and then send it through the chat? Just to kind of like maybe a quick way that we could figure out our questions. So maybe everybody just, like, if your favorite question is number 1, how many siblings are in your family? Just put number 1. And then we recognize that's the same as number 9. And we'll just see if we can narrow it down that way. Okay, I see a lot of number 4s. I see a lot of number 7s. Eight, 4, 7, 4, and 7, 7 and 13. A Few 15s. What type of pets do you have? Okay. So 15's popular, 4 is popular, 7's popular. So 4 would be favorite ice cream. 7, do you sleep with socks on? I think 7's my favorite. I don't know why. It's just it's funny and it's great. Let's see here. I think what we need is we got 4, 7, and 15. Is we need people to pick a. Now let's do that again. I think 4, 15, and 7 is what I see as our favorites. We need one. We need to do this one more time. We need the quantitative. We need a quantitative one. Did anybody here choose a quantitative? So 13. How old are you? I think one problem with this is you're asking your classmates. So I think I might be wrong, but I think everybody's going to be 17, 18, or 19. So mostly 17 and 18. So we're not going to get a lot of variety there, just within our own group. 10, I think, is a great one. How do we feel about 10? I see 10 came up on the list a couple times, but that's a good quantitative one. And I bet you we get a nice, some variety in that one. So when we look at graphical displays. So there we go, we got 10. Wonderful, I think we got our 4 questions. What's your favorite ice cream flavor? Do you sleep with socks on? What type of pets do you have? And so one of those categories would be none. And then 10, how far are you from Sonoma State? How far are you living from Sonoma State? So I think that's great. Let's see here. So for ice cream flavor, I think I'm trying to imagine myself creating the survey. And I wonder how many categories I want to put out there. Why don't we try this? How about everybody here just type into the chat box what their favorite ice cream flavor is? And I might have to figure out the best few. Peanut butter cup. I might have to figure out like 5 categories or something. Peanut butter cup. Ooh, cookie dough, cookie dough, cookie dough, cookie dough. Uh-oh, popular. Cookie dough. Banana, mint chocolate chip. Strawberry. Lots of mint chocolate chip. Okay. Lots of cookie dough. Peanut butter came up a couple times. Peanut butter cup. I'll put those in the same category. Pistachio almond. That one's good. I got one. And mint chocolate chip. Mint chocolate chip is the big favorite in our group. Okay, so I think what we see here is there's probably hundreds and hundreds of flavors of ice cream, and so we're gonna have to maybe pick like 5 categories for the survey or something like that. Let's see. That's one of our questions, and then number 7: do you sleep with socks on? That's a yes or a no. Are there any other categories to that other than yes or no? Does anybody only sleep with 1 sock on? I feel better if my left sock is off. Great. Okay, so that one's very straightforward. And what type of pets do you have? I'm just curious. Okay, so I got dog, cat, fish. What else we have out there? We could also make it, what's your favorite pet if you wanted. Anybody have anything to add other than, oh, birds, of course. Okay, we got the birds. I'll put the parrot in the bird category. A giraffe. Does somebody have a giraffe? Maybe a stuffed giraffe. Reptiles. Yeah, reptiles. Yeah. Okay, lizards. I remember having a reptile when I was in middle school. A little lizard. I used to catch crickets. Chimpanzee. Do you really have a chimpanzee? Rodents. Some people might have rodents. Yeah. I'll just so you see we make categories: reptiles, rodents, fish, bird, dog, and cat. That's probably pretty good. Oh, a goat. Somebody have a goat? You need space for a goat. Goats are cool though. Okay, so we have some categories we can make. Most of us probably don't have goats. Okay, we've got our questions. So let me stop sharing my screen. Thank you everybody for your participation. I love it. So I'm going to meet with my math colleagues, and we're going to try to work on this survey a little bit. We're running out of time. Let me do one more thing and share my screen and just talk about your homework. Okay, so on the main page for day 2, there's a place for homework. There's also a link right here at the bottom. So there's 2 places for quantitative reasoning in day 2. One is the homework and one is basically our class. And what you'll see is there's a series of videos for you to watch. And these take a little while to load, but this is basically getting into what we're going to do with our data. So we talk, this homework should take about 45 minutes, but it's mostly just watching videos. We cover what we call the 5-number summary in the first video. So we talk about median and minimum and maximums and quartiles. And then we talk about outliers, which is basically unusual data values, in a video that's about 14 minutes long. And then we talk about a particular type of way of displaying those called a box plot. So those combine, just those videos, you're roughly 25 or 30 minutes. And then down here, complete this Google Forms survey. I have right here, it will be added soon. So I have to meet with my math colleagues. I already created the survey for the homework you did last night. I just asked that you hold on to that until I can get this link in place. And I hope to have it in place by the time I have my office hours today. So, and then down here it says, have your M&Ms ready for next class. So let me stop sharing my screen. Any questions? Okay, well, thank you everybody for your participation and your creativity. I'm gonna hang out for a little while because my understanding is the host needs to wait for the next person to hand off the Zoom room to. And I'm not sure, I mean, I have your schedule, what you're up to next today. I'll give you a reminder that I have office hours between 2:30 and 3:30, and just hold on to your data for right now until we get a nice way for you to enter it. I thought originally you were maybe going to enter it into a spreadsheet, but it got complicated, so I've created a survey. And so we're going to work together as math faculty to figure out how to get us all to put our data in a place. Looks like your next task is Bridge Leader Breakout. So maybe Kathy and Julia know what to do, but my instructions were to hold on for the next host. So maybe we're waiting for Andre. No?
We just have a separate link.
Oh, you have a separate link? Okay.
Yeah. Oh no, we don't
great.
have a separate link, Julia?
No, it's the same one. I looked.
Never mind.
So you just pass the host to either one of us.
Okay, that's all I need to do. Okay, Julia,
You can pass it to Julia.
Okay. I'll just make Julia the host. Perfect. There you go. You're the host. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Remember, I have office hours 2:30 to 3:30, and you can always email me, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Have a great day.
If y'all need a quick break, because we don't technically start till 12, you can go ahead and leave and come back. I'm gonna look at the breakout rooms right now.
Okay.
Because they're set up like what we just broke out in from the map.
Oh, okay. So you're gonna have to change it.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm gonna find Kirsten's thing that she sent me.
I think I have to wait for everyone to be here. I just realized that.
That makes sense.
Because some people left.
Do you want to do the Kahoot first and then do breakout groups then?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that everyone for today?
I think so.
Okay. You want to do a little check-in first? Whatever you want to do. You want to start?
Yeah. So hi everyone again. I know some people are new and didn't attend yesterday, but I'll just go ahead and introduce myself again one more time. So my name is Julia. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm Team Trixie, so if you got an email from me, that's your team. My major is Women and Gender Studies, and I'm from Claremont, California, which is in SoCal. I'll pass it over to Kathy.
Yeah, so my name is Kathy. I'm Team Kat Valentine. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm majoring in AMCS. I'm from San Francisco, California. So right now, I think we just want to do a little check-in. I know y'all are tired. I'm sure me and Julia are really tired too. Does anyone want to give any feedback on how your days have been, how you're feeling about the program, if you're nervous? I'm sure a lot of you are sharing kind of the same feelings right now, so it'd be pretty cool to just see what those are. Go ahead, Roman.
I'm really liking the program. Like, I feel like everyone else at first, they were kind of like, you know, because this is really different, but not really, because during school we were doing like Zoom and stuff, but I feel like I'm like kind of like my levels of like, whoa, they're going down steadily. So I'm getting more comfortable and kind of like talking more and not like freaking out mid-sentence. But yeah, I appreciate you guys for helping us out, putting in this time. Because you don't have to, but it's really cool. Thank you.
That made my day.
You. That's so sweet. I know.
We didn't fail, Julia. Tyler said, really tired right now. Same. But I feel a lot better than I did yesterday. Started off super discouraged. Yeah, that's normal. I think both Julia and I can say that starting EOP is super nerve-wracking. You genuinely think that maybe you don't belong here. Maybe you made the wrong decision because you have to be doing homework during the summer. But yeah, this is a really good position for all y'all to be in. You've all earned the position. So I'm really, really happy that you guys are giving us that feedback. Anyone else want to share before we move on to the next activity? No? Okay. So Julie and I are gonna do a Kahoot. It's on, what was it, on Nickelodeon Vibes that our other Summer Bridge leader, Kirsten, actually made for us. So that's really cool. So I'm gonna start sharing the screen right now. Can everyone see my screen? Yeah? Okay. This is weird. I've never done this before, so hang tight. Can everyone see? All right, and for those of you who haven't played Kahoot before or used it at all, just input the code into the Kahoot website. I don't know if any of y'all have played Kahoot before. We use this a lot in college, actually. You think it's childish. We're all grown-up children. You do this.
So why are we quiet?
How do you turn the sound off this thing?
Oh, I don't know.
Thank God.
don't
I
hear
hate that
anything.
sound. Okay, is everyone in? Good?
I think so.
Oh, I see. I see the problem now. Okay. Ready?
I can't see the question.
Yeah, I can't see the questions.
Yeah, this is kind of awkward.
Jimmy Neutron is also known as.
Wait,
But
what? Oh,
Is it the top that you can't see?
no,
we can't see the question.
We can't see the questions or the options.
Do y'all see, Julia, do you know what I'm talking about when you can change the screen, like what the screen looks like? The option bar?
No, we can't.
I'm in fourth.
I'm in 7th.
I didn't do anything.
Yeah, we just see
I'm
the
in 13th place.
If you go,
game pin. You might be paused. You might have paused your screen.
Me?
Yeah, because you could pause your screen while you're screen sharing.
Oh.
It's the
See,
bar
I
at
told
the
y'all that I
top.
can't do
Awkward.
technology, okay? Because I haven't pressed next yet, so. How do you move this thing? How did Kirsten do this?
Do you want to send it to me? And I can try? If you can't figure it out, we could try to do that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Did
it's
y'all
awkward.
get kicked?
Yeah, we got kicked out.
Okay.
It is so awkward.
Wait, where? Okay. I guess we'll just wait for Kathy to come back because I think she got kicked out, like of the actual Zoom. I don't know.
It's okay. If need be, I can host.
You're good. Maybe her Wi-Fi died. Maybe. I don't know. Oh, here she comes.
Oh no. Oh no.
Do you want me to send it to you?
Yeah, I
What
can
do you
try.
want to do? Or should we give up on the Kahoot?
Should we just play a different game and try the Kahoot tomorrow?
If you want to. I told you I suck at technology and I think it hates
I mean,
me.
I don't really know how to screen share either, but
Yeah. I don't know how Kirsten did it.
I don't.
Did you guys want to do the Kahoot and you want to try again?
I'm
Y'all
ready.
want to do it? Okay, they want to do it.
You want to do it? Okay. Let me
Okay,
send it
just
to you.
send it to me.
I trust Julia's internet more than mine. So let's see.
It's about Nickelodeon stuff, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna suck.
It's general knowledge. It wasn't that bad when we played it.
I think I got last. I'm not
Did you
gonna lie.
really?
I think so.
Okay. I sent it to you.
Okay.
Let your inner child out. Yes, Medina. Okay, so I sent it to Julia. Hopefully she can do it better. Because I'm a
I'll try.
grandma when it comes to this stuff. In the meantime, does anyone have any questions about anything? Academic stuff that you're confused about?
This is loud. Ah. Sorry. The music's so loud.
I know. There we go. Can y'all see it?
Yeah. Okay.
It's okay, Savannah. Don't worry about it.
How many people are supposed to join?
Is it 15 in total? No, 14.
Oh,
We're missing a few
myself.
still. Okay, we need 2 more people. 1 more.
I think people are waiting to get back in.
Okay. There's 14 in it right now. And Armando just joined. Okay, I think that's everyone.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
Hopefully it works.
I know.
Can y'all see that?
Yeah, see, it worked for you. We're gonna use you for Kahoots now. It's all about Carl.
What are the,
Oh,
um,
I still can't
how
see.
he learned them or what the intro is?
I don't know.
Dang it.
I got it wrong.
Fires first? Since when?
Fire would last.
Are we talking about the intro? Because the intro's right, where it's like, and then the Fire Nation attack. That's last.
I have no idea.
I have a bone to pick with Kirsten.
Who had?
Go, 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 go. By the way, does anyone need us to read them?
Oh yeah.
The avatar question, that was like the order in which he learns them in.
You learned fire last.
Then that's wrong.
I know, but no, but it's stuff. But like it's assuming that he started at air, I think.
I'll search it up later. Nadia's number 1. Oh, easy. If you don't know this, we can't be friends.
I read it wrong.
Who picked
Okay.
Raphael?
If that's the excuse, I'll take it. Who is this?
I don't know this. I'm gonna guess.
Is this like Rugrats or something?
Oh.
I don't know what that is.
It shows. I don't know.
98? Oh,
Oh.
that's not fair. It's before I was born. I think that was supposed to make me feel better, but I just feel really old.
How do I stop screen sharing?
Press. Oh, there we go.
I figured it out.
Okay. Did you figure out the breakout room?
I think so. I think.
Okay. So I hope y'all. Oh, my headphone just died. I hope y'all like that. I don't know if you can still hear me.
So now we're gonna break out into our individual teams. So I'm do that. Hold on. Some people aren't assigned.